Welcome back to Marketing Champions on Daily Ad Brief. I'm your host, Mike White, and on Marketing Champions, we're meeting with experts in the industry, talking about the tips, tricks, trends, and technologies utilized to help campaigns grow. Join us today from Denver, Colorado. We have Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle. Mike, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate the opportunity.
So tell me a little bit about Marketing Huddle and the services you guys provide.
Yeah, so I started off about 12 years ago doing all things to all people and realized that was such a horrible mistake because nobody really then knows what you do very well. So then about 6 years ago, I cleared the deck and started doing one thing really, really well and focused on that, which is authority positioning, helping entrepreneurs, business owners, thought leaders be seen and recognized as that expert authority. And I do it through the world's most powerful platforms, podcasting, publishing, and publicity.
So what is the biggest challenge when you had to take a pivot back then as you have great services generating revenues here and there to focus on the one? What was that biggest challenge or hurdle that you had?
I think believing that was the right choice to make because too many times people are like, well, even dialing in deeper, should I focus only on, this niche? Should I be, the guru of all gurus to dentists, lawyers, whatever? And the challenge was if I take this wide array of products and services and really go down to 3, boy, that might really limit what I can do and provide, but it's proven to be the best decision I made because like my latest book on Amazon is titled Brevity plus Clarity equals Authority. And I think people really, really want to latch on to one thing and go, okay, I can do that. And then tell me the next thing to do.
So when you meet with a customer, what is it that they are seeking out when they get matched with you?
Well, the big thing is they have this little thing called competitors. And so they need to stand out from their competition. They need their solution to their target audience's problem to be seen as the obvious choice. And so they get cluttered up into that, red ocean of everybody else doing the same old thing, from email to daily videos to social media to what have you. And they just are lumped in with what everybody else is doing out there. So they must stand out, be seen as an expert and authority so that then when they connect with that potential prospect of theirs, they can clearly articulate their message to them. Otherwise, they're just lumped in with everybody else. So they've got to stand out and be recognized.
All right. So, Mike, I'm the customer. I say, listen, Mike, I've got my own computer. I can do my own podcasting.
Good. So good. What I would say to you is that's one pebble in the ocean of what you need to be doing and also doing consistently. I've seen too many people do 2 episodes of their podcast, 4, 6, and then, it's too much work.
But Mike, I don't have time to do it.
That's wonderful. I don't have time to do it. Or the other thing is, it's just an element. That's an element. In fact, I've got a federally registered trademark on the phrase authority positioning portfolio. So it's kind of like a graphic designer, fashion designer, or financial planner that has a portfolio of these things. And I call them authority positioning assets, meaning your point about the podcast, good. You should be doing that. And I'll put a pin in that and say there's some ninja strategies up underneath doing podcast episodes where you must be drawing people through the buyer's journey so that they're listening to that one and wanting to listen to the next one to learn that other nugget of knowledge so that then ultimately they say, ooh, Mike, I need to talk to you about that. But in that authority positioning portfolio, one of the assets, good podcast. The other thing is, well, how else can I be seen as that expert and authority? Maybe being seen in the media, maybe not the CNN, talking head, but somehow when people Google you, because they will, and SEO is a broad phrase. And I feel like most cases for business owners and thought leaders and authors and things like that, typical traditional SEO is not the avenue to go because people aren't Googling best whatever you are in whatever area. You know what they're Googling? Your name. Your company, because they're going to get introduced to you maybe through networking or church or whatever, and they're going to go Google your name before they meet with you. They may even schedule a meeting on the phone with you or Zoom or an in-person, and they're going to Google you first. What do they see? Well, hopefully you see more than just your website and your LinkedIn and your Twitter and your Instagram. That's what they expect to see. Those are your sales mechanisms. But if they can also see, mentioned in the media, and look at that press release they were interviewed on, look at that podcast interview. Now I can learn a little bit more about them before they meet with you.
So Captain Google loves content and updated content and gives
Yep.
authority to those who put out content that they find valuable. So is there an easy way for someone to get started? Is it inexpensive to get started? Because nothing is inexpensive nowadays with inflation. But how do I get started?
Yep. Well, I would say you either get started and realize that everything costs, whether it's time or money. If you've got all the time in the world, but you don't have a lot of money, then go out and learn. Google how to, whatever you're looking to do. Start your podcast, write your book.
I did, and your
get
name
started.
kept coming up, Mike.
Oh, hey, that's awesome. See, I'm doing my job right. I'm walking my talk. But if you don't have the time, because guess what? Most people, when that train has left the station and the momentum is happening, you just need to have the little bit of direction. And when that track changes a little bit, not total 90-degree turn, but just little pivots, you need to be able to say, okay, good. I recognize I need content. I recognize I need authoritative content, and I need someone to do it for me. So I specialize in done for you. In fact, the interesting thing is I love old books, like the Think and Grow Rich and, How to Win Friends and Influence People. There's an old book from the 60s by a Canadian media theorist named Marshall McLuhan, and he wrote a book called The Medium is the Message. And basically in that book, one of the thoughts is he says, where people see your content gives as much value, if not more value, than the actual content. So I apply that to my clients and say, you may have the solution to your target audience's problem of X. So if you can write that into a 3-page PDF and you polish it and fine tune it, and now it's this wonderful 3-page PDF, people are going to glance at it if you emailed it to them. If you put it up on your website as a blog post, okay, that's nice, but they realize that it's just a blog post. You put it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and they're like, okay. But if it then is on an authoritative platform, like, it was featured in Forbes magazine, it's in a compilation part of a book, or you expand it out and put it in a book, or maybe you do a series on a podcast episode. Now your target audience is seeing that you're elevated to those positions of status, and they're going to pay a little bit more attention to that. And does that close deals 100% of the time? Of course not. But it just elevates you to the status where they should pay attention. So I've got a program where I do literally, I call it MASS Authority. MASS stands for Mini Audio Seminar Series, because I believe that most people listening and watching to this right now, and Mike, you may agree as well, we're kind of Zoom fatigued out, and we're kind of fatigued on, sign up for this 2-hour-long webinar. I don't know that I have the time for that. And if my target audience is busy and affluent and wealthy and a real decision maker and a go-getter, they don't have time for a 2-hour webinar. But you know what they will have time for? A quick 20-minute interview episode. So if you set yourself up for a series of 3, 4, 5 podcast episodes on specific topics that are really relevant to your target audience, where they go, ooh, I've never thought about it that way before. And then the next episode is another, aha moment. Now those are consumable pieces of knowledge. They're teaching, they're educating your target audience on your solution, and they're mini audio seminar, and it's a series. And now you use those interviews in a way to attract people to you. Now it becomes value add for your email messages, for your blog posts, for your website, and for your social media. So what I do is I put together a package where I say, you don't even need to know anything about what I just said, except that, yes, that makes some sense. I've got a package where I do 3 interviews on my podcast, Influential Entrepreneurs, and then I do a multimedia press release about that, and I get that syndicated out through ABC, NBC, CBS News affiliate sites, and now Google starts indexing that. You can use the episodes, the links, to the iTunes and the Spotify and Pandora, and get those out there to your target audience to educate them on the solution that you provide.
You've figured it out, and that's what makes you a marketing champion. So congratulations, Mike, and I appreciate you coming on the program today.
Thanks so much.
To find out more about Mike and Marketing Huddle and all the amazing things he can do to help get your message out there, visit us at dailyadbrief.com. We'll see you next time on Marketing Champions.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.